Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to an intraday update on AMC Stock. Guys, today is another very brutal day with AMC down about 7%. Now, we are getting some numbers coming out from Avatar as well, which can be pretty important and probably will be pretty important over the next call it the next week, because starting today the movie goes to theaters, and what we're seeing right now from the domestic box office, the previews looks pretty good, guys. So let's get into all of this information. The Ortex data, technicals, Stonko tracker, everything you need to know will be provided to you here in this video. The only thing that I ask is that you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for doing that, and let's get into it. So first things first, this article comes from Deadline. What do I gotta do? Continue to skip article. Avatar, The Way of Water, Thursday's box office lands at 17 million. Great audience scores out of the gate. And it does say Disney has officially reported that Thursday night previews for Avatar, The Way of Water stand at 17 million, just as we're figuring. The foreign running total at the end of Thursday is 50.4 million, not including China. PRC's first day looks to be around 18.5 million, putting the running global total of the James Cameron directed sequel at just under 86 million. Guys, why is this so exciting? These are only preview numbers. 86 million on the preview. Okay, so Avatar, most films, I should preference by saying most films might be released like 2 days first in China, and then the next 2 days they go to the rest of the world, right? Just for an example there, it can vary country to country. Some countries can get films earlier. Well, this film in particular has a universal start date. China's going to get it today. America gets it today, Canada gets it today, Europe gets it today, everyone gets it today. So this 86 million is already a rock solid preview box office number for Thursday, and I would expect big numbers for this film coming this weekend, and basically everyone else does, so it's not like this would be a big shocker, but fundamentally speaking, it would be a very positive thing for AMC, especially remember the last blockbuster movie that we just had, Black Panther Wakanda. AMC came out and toted some of their numbers, and those were some of the best days for AMC stock over the last couple of months. So I do think this could be a big deal for AMC, and I don't think it should be blown under the rug. And I'm sure my little girl want to go see Avatar too, huh? Do you want to go see Avatar? Go to AMC?
Yeah, bye.
Okay, yep, for sure. So I definitely just had to go make her food, because when the girls are hungry, you gotta feed them, guys. That's just a good rule of thumb for the rest of your life. Now, let's get into everything else you need to know about this market today, about AMC stock. I wanted to start with these Avatar numbers because, one, I'm excited about what I'm seeing. You have not seen an $86 million box office preview in a very long time. You're talking years. You're talking pre-COVID. That has never happened before from my knowledge. Now, and I do think that will be a very big thing in this next week ahead for AMC, and I think it could give us some big upside. Now, let's get into everything else that is going on here in the marketplace today, and not too much, guys. There's not too much news, nothing that's really big in that sense. You're coming off of digestion from Fed Jerome Powell, and you have heard from Fed George and from Fed Mary Daly, and they have both basically said the same thing. They're saying what the FOMC statement said, that the Fed needs to keep going, that the risk is doing too little compared to doing too much. A lot of the same things, so we didn't get that sigh of relief that we sometimes get from Fed Mary Daly. So that's really all we had for today. But this is interesting, and this has a lot of people talking on the Bloomberg terminal. It says Treasury's financial stability watchdog says fraud is rampant in crypto markets. The cryptocurrency exchange market is rife with fraud, failures to comply with existing laws, and big swings in volatility. But the recent implosion of digital currency exchange FTX hasn't hampered the broader financial system, according to a report released Friday by Treasury's Financial Stability Oversight Committee. Quote, FTX is a shock to the market, a Treasury official said, adding that the bankruptcy underscores the committee's concerns about crypto highlighted in a report released in early October. And it does say that the contagion is likely to continue throughout 2023 and could also bring down more exchanges, and you could start to actually see some big losses reported from banks and from Wall Street firms, guys. And this was something that definitely did not help out crypto today. Crypto's in the same boat as the equity markets, and this also, was a negative thing for equity markets, because the thing with crypto, the inability to really see what is going on, it's great when you're concerned about the government printing money and people stealing your money, right? You could put your money in cryptocurrencies, store it in a cold storage, right? It's great for its purposes, but when shit hits the fan and somebody was over leveraged, or they all really were, right? The brokerages, look how many have went bust now. They've all been over leveraged, taking out loans from XYZ bank and hedge fund. Once they start to implode, they all tend to implode, and you don't know how much risk there is or how many dollars are behind some of these fraudulent exchanges, guys. And that's the real worry, and that is what this is highlighting. Like I said, a lot of people are talking about this on the Bloomberg terminal. That is why I did want to bring it to your attention. Nonetheless, with AMC stock, it is suffering from broad market conditions that are not favoring stocks today. Just stocks in general are down very bad. Some of these last 2 days have been the worst days for market breadth. I don't even know how to say that. Market breadth, essentially saying, looking at all the stocks in the stock market, you're not really getting one certain sector that is doing well today compared to others. They're all kind of down the same amount, and that is bullish because it gets you closer to a market bottom, but it is bearish because it could potentially mean the stock market has a lot further to fall. All right, guys, now let's run through everything you need to know here today with AMC stock. So first and foremost, let's look at the Stocko tracker data, because today is not a good option expiration for AMC. As you can see, there's about 103,000 puts that are in the money, 36,000 that are out of the money. That's a lot. For the calls, 1,300 that are in the money, 266,000 that are out of the money. That is a lot of contracts that are not in the money, for one, but that are out of the money, and that's a lot of puts that are in the money. So you are seeing a lot of option activity weighted to the negative side. Now, as you can see from next week, you're seeing about 1,300 calls that are currently in the money, 96,000 calls that are out of the money. So a smaller amount, but about the same, right? 1,300, and then you got that 100,000. For the put side, it's a lot different. You're only seeing 11,632 puts that are in the money and 19,000, almost 20,000 puts that are out of the money. So you have almost 5 times the amount of calls for next week's expiration, and I do think that could give us a big boost to the upside. We'll talk about that more in the next video coming out at 4 p.m. Let's run through the Ortex data as well. If we take a look at the option activity, we have seen 24 orders totaling about $1 million, positive order value of 40%, a lot better than yesterday's positive order value at about 6%. So keep that in mind, looking a little bit better. If we're taking a look at the short interest on the day, that is up 0.59%, now at 19% flat. You are seeing about 600,000 shares that have been sold short today, bringing that total to about 98 million shares. Keep in mind, these are only the numbers that we can prove. This is only the estimate. The numbers are actually a lot higher considering all the other forms of, synthetic shorting that are out there. Just FTX alone could have shorted 400 million shares with their AMC tokens, which have since been removed. Obviously, they went bankrupt, but they were were removed before they actually went bankrupt. So that is a whole shit show in and of itself. But if we take a look at the shares available to be lent out today, it's back to zero, guys. Back to pretty much zero here today. 200,000 the first hour of trading, then zero, then 60,000, then zero. You get the concept here. It is pushing the cost to borrow rates up here today. For basically all of them, up about 5% today alone. You are seeing the cost to borrow max giving us the biggest, or cost to borrow minimum giving us the biggest jump, which is good to see, of about 7%. Cost to borrow minimum sitting at 22% here today, cost to borrow max at about 32%, and cost to borrow average at about 27.5%. So numbers still are very high relative to where the actual numbers should be for AMC. So do keep that in mind. Now, as far as the technicals on AMC, I do want to see the stock hold up above its 2022 intraday low of $5.05. As long as we can hold above that, that's going to be very good. The close of this day was $5.19 per share. You're currently trading at $5.25 per share. So if we can hold up above that close, or at least above the intraday low of November 9th, so you got to go back over a month now, that's going to be a very bullish thing. And it looks like we did find some support around this line that I have had drawn out for a while now. We'll see how much we can retrace to the upside by the end of the day, but it's not looking all too bad in the grand scope of things. It could be worse for AMC. The volume is very high today, and today is a $3.7 trillion option expiration. So that is part of it that is giving us this massive volatility, guys. So that is pretty much going to be all for this video. I am leaning way more bullish for next week, and you guys definitely want to stay tuned to the channel for that 4 o'clock video to get the insight on exactly why I am leaning bullish for next week, guys. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.